The average individual spends approximately 33% of their life asleep, 22% staring mindlessly into screens, and a staggering 33% at work, often going through the motions, daydreaming of a life with more fulfillment. While many genuinely believe that they're satisfied with their current life, and indeed, some of them are, I'd argue that it's difficult to fully assess your happiness without first tasting an expansive palette of alternative experiences. If given the chance to radically transform their lives, many would discover a whole new dimension of happiness and fulfillment. In fact, it's challenging to realize the state that you're in until you actually reflect back on it later, often realizing that you've been stuck in quicksand, perpetually planning in the disguise of procrastination. Dreams of radical changes frequently get delegated to a future version of yourself, often ignoring the reality that action only occurs in this present moment. Thus, tomorrow never arrives and you remain trapped, perpetually sinking into the quicksand of your self-created stagnation. The bar isn't set very high, and it's important to acknowledge that this is not entirely your fault, but rather it is the fault of the systems of which you were born into. Your family likely didn't teach you how to craft an authentic life. Your school systems probably didn't, and the government and society has not made it their top priority whatsoever. Yet by seeking out this information yourself, you've already taken the essential first step. Luckily, you can escape mediocrity and yes, even surpass 99% of people by making small changes today, because small changes compound into lasting, radical transformations. So first, we'll begin by creating a vision of your worst case scenario life. This is so you can clearly define the actions that you must avoid. Second, we'll create another vision for your ideal life. Action without a purpose will not get you very far, so crafting your outcome is crucial to your success. Third, we'll eliminate the variables that lead you to your worst case scenario life and replacing additional time with positive actions dissected from your ideal life vision. Fourth, I'll help you develop ruthless self-discipline, because discipline equals freedom. You must build your own systems in order to shed your pre-assigned ones. And lastly, I'll help you build rare, high-leverage skills. While discipline gets you 90% of the way, mastering high-value skills is what truly separates you from the 1%. If you don't have a clear vision of what you do not want in life, then you may unknowingly drift towards it. Negative behaviors tend to be imbued with seductive desires since they inherently offer little resistance while creating pleasurable rewards. However, these rewards are always hollow, resulting in more pain once completed. Positive behaviors often offer high resistance for lasting rewards, so while the pain may appear really great up front, lasting fulfillment is waiting at the end of the tunnel. In order to achieve peak fulfillment in life, you must identify the negative behaviors first, because without awareness, bad habits, wasted time, and toxic people can pull you into the depths of mediocrity. Without remedying these ingredients, you will float in a state of unease, being stretched limb from limb with a devil at one end and an angel at the other. Start by writing out your 5-year worst case scenario life according to these 3 pillars. Number 1 is health, being physical and mental. Number 2 is relationships, meaning friends, family, and acquaintances. And number 3 is wealth, which is your business and your income. You should fill out these pillars in complete sentences, providing as much detail as you possibly can. If you're having trouble with this, then you are not alone. It's a lot of negativity and self-reflection to do in one time frame. Here is an abbreviated example from me. For health, I am mentally trapped in my room with severe anxiety and depression, with my only source of joy being a pleasure-pain cycle consisting of junk food, drugs, and screens. My muscle mass is decayed while my adipose tissue has thrived. For relationships, I am in a manipulative and abusive relationship, unable to escape, without friends and family to throw a life jacket. My only relationships are toxic ones, further reinforcing negative behaviors. For wealth, I am working a minimum wage job with no savings. My financial debt has risen so high that I'm drowning in it. My dreams of building a business, brand, and career path have faded so much that I can hardly remember having them. Now that we have identified your worst nightmares, it's time to craft your ideal life. This is most likely the opposite of of your worst case scenario life vision. It's a list of outcomes that you desire more than anything. In fact, it's a 5-year blueprint for your success. Again, here's an abbreviated example from me. For health, I have mastered the art of self-discipline, achieving a strong athletic body while having uplifted my mind to new heights. I feel peace from deep within with no pull towards unhealthy behaviors, but rather have accepted that nourishing foods and healthy habits are more than enough for me. For relationships, they have been nurtured. I'm surrounded by loving, supportive people that empower me, encourage growth, and inspire positive behaviors. My romantic relationship has continually blossomed and we are stronger than ever. For wealth, I have scaled my YouTube to a highly profitable business while simultaneously introducing various other endeavors to the mix, all while living financially free, allowing time to enjoy life. Now the real work begins. It's time to analyze your 5-year negative life outcome and positive life outcome and determine the habits that you could possess or do possess, which will steer you away from your worst case scenario life vision and towards your ideal life vision. It may seem like a complex task requiring endless self-reflection. However, it's not as monumental as you may think. In fact, for me, it's been the opposite. It's like turning on a light in a pitch dark cave, illuminating the way forward so I may walk with purpose instead of stumbling around in the darkness. Reverse engineer both visions by dissecting the outcomes, which are your fears and your dreams, and determining which inputs, which are your habits and behaviors, will get you to those lives. For me, I am deeply afraid of being mentally trapped in my room, so the inputs which will result in this nightmare include isolating myself from others, neglecting physical exercise, spending excessive time consuming passive entertainment or social media, ignoring healthy daily routines, and avoiding opportunities to step outside of my comfort zone. On the flip side of this, I aspire to master the art of self-discipline. More on that later. So the inputs resulting in this reality include consistently following structured daily routines, prioritizing meaningful tasks, practicing intentional discomfort, committing to regular exercise and proper nutrition, engaging in daily mindfulness and reflection, maintaining accountability through tracking habits, and proactively choosing long-term growth over short-term comfort. Now that you know exactly which behaviors will illuminate each scenario in life, it's time to thoughtfully dissect your current life so that you can transform it. Analyze your current habits, routines, and behaviors, determining which scenario they will ultimately drift you towards. If it's your worst case scenario vision, then that input must be eliminated and replaced with a positive input. For me, I have found that not going on my phone for the first 2 to 4 hours upon waking has tremendously helped me in the realms of idea generation, creativity, and performing a structured fitness routine every single day. Do this for all of your inputs, either trimming them, modifying them, or replacing them entirely. Discipline equals freedom, which means if you refine your inputs down to a science where skipping them is actually more challenging to you than actually just performing the action to begin with, then you have truly won. You freed yourself from the self-imposed restraints that previously held you captive, transcending into a place that is free from self-destruction. Most individuals just rely on motivation alone, which, don't get me wrong, it can be a powerful psychological force because it is the driving thing behind everything that we do, even discipline. However, motivation is highly influenced by your emotions, and your emotions are subject to outside variables, and these variables we often cannot control. Therefore, discipline isn't just an option, but it is a requirement to achieve your ideal life vision. Know that discipline is like a muscle. Use it and it will become stronger, but if you don't use it, then it will surely wither away into nothing. Performing your daily routines is like sets in the gym. Show up consistently and you will surely see progress. However, just like with fitness, you need a daily structure or else you will not get very far. Therefore, simply knowing which inputs to do to achieve your ideal life vision is not enough. You must create entire systems in order to foster this vision. These take the form of morning, evening, and even entire daily routines. It doesn't require so much rigidity that you become zapped of all pleasure in life, but rather a simple structure which is designed to drill intentionality into your mind. For me, this includes that period without my phone, as well as a series of actions which sets me me up for daily success. I begin by hydrating with 16 to 20 ounces, followed by 10 minutes of red light therapy while my bathtub fills with cold water. Hesitantly, I submerge most of my body into freezing cold temperature. Afterwards, I apply essential face care, then put on the clothes I laid out the night before. Directly after, I grab my workout bag and walk to the gym, preparing to journal, create a to-do list, and perform a short lift, all while pedaling on a stationary bike. By no means is creating a system this lengthy and complex a necessity. As you build the muscle of self-discipline, it becomes easier and easier, tempting even, to curate the system into something more complex and fulfilling to your deeper self. In fact, when I first embarked on my journey, I only started with 2 habits for my morning routine, including hydration and a morning walk, and I recommend that you do the same. While discipline will indeed get you 90% of the way there, mastering the art of building high leverage skills is what truly separates the 1%. The positive inputs you've adopted, the negative ones you've cast aside, and the self-discipline which you have built indeed create a solid foundation that will absolutely allow you to escape mediocrity, because the average individual doesn't do any of these things in the first place. However, this alone will not allow you to surpass 99% of people, as the bar is set much, much higher. In fact, there are many more like-minded people with the same drive as you, all trying their hardest to accomplish their dreams. If you don't look over a fence, then you will never know what's on the other side. We only have a finite amount of energy that we can expend each day. So it is essential that we transform the healthy systems that we have created for ourselves into high leverage skills that will truly move the needle, or else we will be stuck perpetually running in a mouse wheel of healthy habits. And while content in doing so, perhaps even deriving pleasure from it, it will not allow us to experience the wonders of the world. So analyze the whole entire systems that you have created, dissecting each and every component, and then determine whether it is producing a deeper sense of expertise for your future self. If you have the goal of becoming more fit like I do, then acquiring the knowledge of proper programming, biomechanics, and nutrition can help you get ahead of 99% of people. If you want to become more thoughtful in your relationships, then master deep, active listening so that they always feel heard. Instead of just posting content, develop storytelling and writing skills to really make your creations stand out. This won't be easy. It's not just as simple as waking up and going for a walk, a run, or a quick training session each and every morning. It requires deliberate thought and consistent learning. However, by dissecting not just what you do, but actually how you do it, you will have created assurance that you are on the right path to achieving your ideal life. This will yield higher consistency and a brighter outlook on your life as a whole, and indeed will allow you to escape mediocrity and surpass 99% of people. Thank you guys so much for watching. Have a good one.